What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Big Roofs Podcast. I'm your host, John DeLauria. Today, we have William Pauly with Marcon Advisors. We've been chatting for a long time, for like 30 minutes about other things, CrossFit and all kinds of stuff. But today, I think it's going to be really valuable for a lot of people listening and watching because you ask this question all the time in the Facebook groups. How do I sell my roofing business? How do I grow or build my business to be able to sell? And I hear that question a lot. And William definitely has some incredible insight, contributes a lot on these groups about, the acquisition of AccuLinks and different ways to grow your business, what's important. William, thanks for coming on today.
Thank you, John. I appreciate it. It's fun to anywhere I can go to kind of help roofers get a better idea of what the acquisition process looks like, what private equity is, to help kind of demystify and explain things. I love doing it.
I'm excited to chat. Let's talk about really quick. We have 3 different topics, but I want to talk about just what your perspective, your background, and then your perspective on what do you do? What makes you different than the other PE?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So I'll give you a little background. So I've been doing mergers and acquisitions for close to 20 years. I started at an investment bank. We were selling businesses valued like $50 to $300 million. I joined a private equity firm. We were buying companies valued around $50 to $300 million. MBA, another investment firm. I did internal M&A for a period of time at a Fortune 50 company. Actually hunted for a business to buy myself and operate for a period of time. I'm not as good as a lot of these roofers to found and grow businesses on my own with good ideas and chops. I was trying to find a small business that I could buy and operate. Found a business, some investors we acquired, I'm on the board of. So something came out of it. And then I joined a fire safety business, which sounds a little unique. And I was head of M&A. They'd just been acquired by a multi-billion-dollar private equity firm. And that was my first real exposure to being in the middle of these consolidations or buy and builds. I was there for about 18 months, evaluated a few hundred businesses. We acquired 10 to 15. And it really opened my eyes to how this playbook, this consolidation buy and build playbook works. And I often say that this is new to roofing. It is not new to private equity. This playbook has been used in a number of industries, and I was the one doing it in fire safety. Think landscaping, HVAC, insurance companies, dermatology practices, optometrists, lawn care, tree care, fire safety. I mean, there are tons of them. And what I learned, again, was how these consolidation plays actually work from behind the scenes, as well as how uninformed a lot of business owners are on the topic. And that's okay. That's not their day-to-day job. Their job is to run and grow their business. But at some point, they need to understand this for their own benefit when they want to sell their business. And while I was trying to buy businesses, most I was really doing was education and knowledge sharing of how the process works as I was trying to buy their business. And I just realized, again, how poorly informed a lot of them were and how poorly informed a lot of their advisors were about the landscape, the buyer universe, what's going on in their industry. So I left to do it independently. So I left in order to try and bridge that gap and be industry specific in order to be able to talk the same language, build deeper relationships, and be able to help business owners more because you understand what a good and bad roofing business looks like. And you also have relationships on the other side of who the buyers are, what they pay, what they look for, how they structure things, what their reputation is in order to provide more value to business owners and roofers in particular when I'm talking with them. So I really focus on the education aspect of helping guys understand their options. And look, whether they choose to sell or not, that is a personal decision. They can decide that one. That's too big of a decision for me. But my job is to help answer those questions as independently as I can in order to give them high quality information so they can make a more informed decision. That's really what it comes down to for me.
I love that. I do. I've said this before several times on different podcasts, is that because of this finally PE, we're really late to the game compared to other industries, but in the roofing space, PE is, they're here to stay. They're not going anywhere. You should build your business to be able to sell, even if you never sell it, because when you do that, when you have your accounting set up correctly for EBITDA, when you have, your net profit, when you know what your net profit is, let's just talk about it in roofing terms. People don't know what EBITDA is a lot of times. So net profit, you have to really know what it is. You have to keep really good books. That's the number one thing that I see when we talk to roofing contractors, that they kind of have an accountant and a bookkeeper, but you have to focus on the accounting side of things first, before the roofing sales, accounting first. And then SOPs, another fun thing to say, standard operating procedures that for your business. Can you replicate your business and be able to put another butt in another seat and continue to grow that business? You need to build your roofing company that way. And if you don't, you're going to be in a world of hurt, because the customers, your homeowner customers, are going to be expecting that type of customer experience from a company like that, that's set up, that organized, that understands their numbers, that prices correctly, that's profitable. That's what I see from a perspective of just in general. If you're never going to sell your business, I never want to sell it. That's fine. That's what I see. People, you must do that, because you will get left behind, and it won't take that many years for your competition to do exactly that. Let's talk about some concerns that you see, or just big problems, maybe issues that you see, and what's like a couple 1 to 3 things that you see that people need to work on in their business when you're advising.
I'd say the number one is kind of one of the things you just mentioned on, which is quality financials. If that is kind of the baseline information that everything emanates and stems from, that's where your valuation is going to come from. That's where someone's going to believe that the business you describe and talk about is the business that you actually have. So it's about doing those little things right to track your business and do accounting and financials the right way. Because I've joked before, a buyer cares what your financials are, but they care more about what your financials were going to look like on their books. Because if you can say your business does this, but if when we look at it, put it in our books, it looks different, that's what I care about. So having a consistent set of financials, doing things the same way, revenue recognition can be a big one. So it really starts with have your financials in order so that you can understand your business and someone else can understand your business as well, because they're not going to have all the knowledge that's tied up in your head. And that goes back to kind of your SOPs. Like the more tribal knowledge that's caught up in your head, the more at risk your business is, because it's tied up in somebody's head and not built into systems and infrastructure that can build and scale and survive without you. Yeah. And again, having those financials, like there are a lot of little things you got to do that end up doing there, which is having a CRM in place, tracking all your metrics, because that's where a lot of things feed into. And it's just good practice for managing your business as well, because you need to make informed, data-driven decisions. And you got to track that data and believe in the data you're tracking, that it's quality, in order to make those informed decisions. So I'd really say it starts with financials, having a good set of books, tracking things, and then it kind of leads into a lot of the good systems, processes, infrastructure, and CRM as well, because that's part of the systems you're doing. And a lot of your systems are probably built into how you structure your CRM as well.
It's all tied together. I mean, if you're sitting here thinking, okay, well, what does that look like? How do I do that? I'm super busy. What I see a lot is like, how can somebody help me set up my CRM or help me set up my accounting, my books? And at the end of the day, you have to realize, again, you're the business owner. That's the first thing you need to be doing. It's the thing you need to be focusing on the most. I'm too busy. Stop being busy. Set aside an entire day to do X and to accomplish that goal, and just create that part of your business. Because I hear that excuse too many. I was a one-man show for a long time, and I did all these things. I built out my own CRM reports. I didn't know anything. I'm not a tech guy. I'm not a math guy. I just said, I'm going to do these things. I listened to a bunch of podcasts, read books. You've got to do those things. And then once you build your business to be very profitable as your market will allow, then you're able to hire people to help you continue to build that. I just know people listening and watching right now. They're like, well, I don't have enough time. You're thinking about it completely wrong. It is the only thing you should be thinking about. The next sale cannot be the next thing you're thinking about. It needs to be, how can I organize my business, the structure of my business, and the accounting side of my business. That's what you must think about. Whether you're selling it or not, you need to think about your roofing business that way. Do you have any resources as far as like certified partners or people that you work with to help with this? Like, what's the next step for this particular thing? We're talking about books. If you're advising somebody, how does that look with you?
Yeah, I mean, I often say, like, my background is mergers and acquisitions, buying and selling companies, and I understand roofing. I understand roofing really well, but it's from a specific perspective. It's kind of, what does a roofing business look like? How is it structured? How is it set up? What does it need to look like in order to sell? Like, what do buyers care about? Which metrics matter? What are good ratios? But in order to, like, a selling system, if you needed a good selling process in your business, not your guy. Like, I have never run a roofing business. I don't know how to put a roof on. I don't know any of those things. And that's where I think, kind of like, sound bad, stay in my lane. I mean, there are a number of people in roofing that have a lot of experience that are out there that offer services to help a roofer get from kind of point A to point B. And that's one of the, I'd say the beautiful things, and probably the curses of roofing as well, is that there are a lot of resources for whatever issues you're facing, because in the end, what you're facing, I want to say it's not special, but these are issues that hundreds of other roofers have faced and worked through. And building a relationship with guys that have worked through those, that are willing to help you work through those, also is a great place. And there are guys out there doing that. The flip side of that is that the curse in the industry is there's so many guys doing that. It can be tough to make sense of the noise and the quality of it, because there's so many guys that are out there doing it. There's nobody in particular that I work with, or I become, part of getting deep in the industry is getting to know a lot of the guys that offer certain services, building relationships with them, so you know them personally, and you know how much they care about the services they provide and the value they offer to roofers. But there's no one I'm like formally tied with. But again, I've gotten to know a lot of people that can really help with that, growth scaling, growth consulting stuff, to help roofers push through some of those obstacles and barriers they're facing.
Here's how roofers make it home for dinner every single night without losing a single sale, even when they're one-man shows. Automate your communication with ProLine, the only communication-first CRM for roofers. Because when you fix your communication, you'll sell more jobs. Your weekends will smell more like sunscreen and backyard barbecues than that crappy gas station coffee. And all you got to do is ask these roofers.
Or we had about 200% growth, and I attribute that to incorporating ProLine.
But just with one automation, I was able to get 25 Google reviews.
It's been absolutely insane how quickly we were able to grow.
Now, ProLine's not going to win the beauty pageant, but it will save your Saturday. Now, back to the show.
I like it. Yeah. I think you just made me think about, taking action, or not just taking action, but just having accountability with this type of mindset. There's a mindset to this, but then there's also action you have to take. Just being able to talk to somebody like you would be really valuable for anyone. Like that's, I just think about myself and the past few years owning the roofing business. I had people that I talked to consistently, but I didn't have anyone specifically that has your skill set, or has, like, I knew the basics. That's how I was able to sell my business. Like I got it. But, if you want to be, have something that's meaningful, and you weren't as fortunate as I was to have a situation that I did. I had a very fortunate situation with my sale. It was a very kind of different. I've seen it happen before, but it's a more rare situation that happens. You've got to be able to understand the process, and then understand, okay, well, why? I just go back to this. I keep thinking about being a roofing owner, and the times where I was like, why don't I have any money? is the times where I didn't know my numbers and my accounting wasn't correctly done, and my pre-job and post-job budgets weren't being done on every single job. And then my overhead was all over the place. I didn't know what that was. And so I didn't know what my margins needed to be. I didn't know what my, all those things really, really matter more than the sale, more than building the roofs. Kind of start with that. Like that's what I always, I mean, it sounds so simple, but that's what I see.
Yeah, it is simple. And going back to what you said earlier about how this should be the most important thing you're doing. It focusing on the important thing matters. And like, for some folks, and look, it's easy for me to say sometimes because I'm the consultant, the outsider. Like, I know these guys are facing fires left and right. They're trying to grow their business, and they're doing the best thing they can. And it's incredibly hard work, especially when they're that size, when you don't have the cash flow or the infrastructure to lean on a lot of people and experts in certain areas to do stuff. And you're wearing a lot of hats. Like, it's really, really hard. But they're also like, sounds bad, the problem's not going to solve itself. And you have to carve out time because it can feel like you're just kicking the can down the road. And I heard someone say one time, well, problems that don't get fixed just get bigger and they fester and get larger. And it's even whether you're solving or not, like, it's probably taking up more mind share than you think. And even solving it poorly is a solution that you can fix later. And that is at least a step in the right direction, which will help you get more informed the next time you kind of open that thing back up and you fix it again. It's an important aspect. You got to do it.
Yeah. I talked about this for a long time, and this is kind of like the micro picture of the macro PE kind of buying my business world. Is I wanted to create a t-shirt that said like, busy with the not equal sign. That's an equals with a slash to it. Busy does not equal profit. And it's busy does not equal profit. Busying can equal profit, but it's usually does not. Usually efficient time equals profit, and understanding your numbers. People just do I'll say this, the low number of roofs that I did, I was so much more profitable than lots of my competition. Yeah. I had so much more cash in my bank account, and people do not understand that. They're like, I just got to be busy. And it drives me crazy too. I want to be super busy. That's just how I'm wired. But what I realize is that if you can get that concept down, you become more attracted. The stuff that William posted 2 hours ago on Facebook is exactly right. The cash flow and the EBITDA, the net profit, like that fixes it. If you can start with one roof at a time and you're like, this is what matters. And you can't focus on like people's commission. You can't focus on like your crews being busy. You have to focus on the next roof being as profitable as your market will allow. And that, get in sales training, understand, give transparency to your numbers, to your team. That's what I did. I was very transparent with my numbers. It's like, hey, this is what it was. We have $25,000 a month for this. We have to hit this. And that's just before we even start making $1. And that was it. That was like early stages. Yeah. There's not very many owners that do that. They're like, and they also don't know their number either. They don't know that number. So know the overhead number and then tell your team.
Yeah, honestly, you see different aspects of people on the transparency. You see, and I think that comes back to like, I think about that one a lot, the transparency aspect. And I think that comes back to the disposition of like the owner of that business and the culture they've built and like the trust they've built with their team. Because some people look at too much transparency as like a big risk of people leaving, being upset, infighting, whatever it might be. Other people use that transparency in order to drive home more loyalty and working towards a common goal. And I honestly, I've probably seen both be successful. Mm-hmm. And I think about like what drives the difference sometimes. And I think it is just like the culture and the owner and how you position what you're doing and how you've built the trust of the team to do those things. Because they're, again, two-way. This goes back to the kind of mental, like, you both have the same goal, growing your business. You have different ways of getting there, based on how you position things and the strategies you have internally, neither are right or wrong, but they can both be successful. It matters like how you implement those things and get the team rallied around them.
Yep. It's very, very true. I've seen both as well. I just know a lot of people complain about their sales reps leaving and starting their own business.
Yeah.
And then that sales rep goes out of business because they don't understand how difficult it was. And if you were just transparent with them, hey, this is a lot. Why is this like that? And then you have the conversations. Why are you spending this money? Well, this is why. Do you like your truck? Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is what it costs for the insurance for your truck.
Yeah,
Well, do you like to be able to sell this warranty? Oh, this is what it costs. And then you break it down, and most people think they can just do a roofing. They can just be a business owner. It's easy. It's easy. It's the hardest thing you will ever do is to have a home service in today's world. Having a home service based business is extremely difficult.
Yeah.
And I have found, I definitely have seen both ways, but the transparency side of things is what I lean towards because of all that. You will have, you can create you said culture. That's what it is. You have to have the right intent behind it. You can't be bragging about this stuff, but you have to understand, hey, this is the machine we have to feed. And before I feed myself, and you have to lead by example, don't pay yourself first, pay yourself last. If you do that and you lead with a servant's heart, you will win. You will have a great culture and you will be able to grow your business. And if you care about your teams, I always talk about the day, the week, the month, the quarter, the year. If you care about their days and their weeks and how, not just the money they make, but you can grow your business very, very easily because your team knows that you care about them. And that all connects. That small little picture connects to being able to grow the right way with the right money, with the right EBITDA, right cash flow. Oh, it becomes easier. It did for me. It was like, oh, this is crazy. Like my team knows that I care about them and they're working really hard and we're very profitable.
Stack good days. That's the name of the game. And I think, you back to transparency. I think it's, again, the culture and how you deliver. And that's one of the things I try and do online is be much more transparent about the information. Cause then I forget, was it, I don't know, is it trust through transparency or something like that? Build trust through transparency, which is one of the things I try and lean to about just sharing insight with people.
Yep.
You mentioned earlier the busy doesn't equal profit. One of the things I also try and acknowledge with people is that not all cash flow is the same.
Yeah.
Not all cash flow is the same in a buyer's eyes. Like, I understand if you are like, just because you put a lot of money in the bank doesn't mean a buyer is going to pay you for that, because again, it's not all created the same. And that's where I also upfront that my perspective is on building value in your business, building enterprise value, not just generating cash. And like, there are easier ways to generate cash, but it's not all going to be valued the same way for a buyer. And that's just something you have to be transparent about and understand in order. It's also help. I don't know. It's a component of like, what do you focus your business on? What's going to pay off now, or what could build, what could pay off dividends in the future by compounding?
I like that. That's actually good. I mean, it just makes me think of like going back to what I said before, just educate yourself. Do these, like, meet with William and understand, like, these are things that I don't know, that I wish that I had learned years ago. And having a resource, I mean, it's kind of like a cheat code. Like, we have opportunities as business owners to talk to people like you to actually understand the real, like, what's the real answer? You can't just assume I saw this on Facebook and this is what's real. Like, you have to freaking talk to somebody who understands it, and don't spend years, or don't start now and understand, okay, I'm just going to sell my business in a month. It's going to be easy. That's what I see that so much. I like, okay, I got this great business. I got cash in the bank. I make my books look this way and I can sell it for this. Short story. My friend who helped his brother grow his pallet business. It's an amazing business. If I exit ProLine one day, I will buy a pallet business. So easy, so simple, so great.
You're just fixing pallets all the time. It's very regional based around, because the transportation's tough, but they're very important.
Yeah.
I can tell you a pallet story after your story if you want.
I love it. I'm intrigued by this because long story short, really sad story, sad at the end of it. He grew the business. He helped his brother grow the business to 5 million in revenue, and it was doing like 1 or 2, and it didn't take that long to go to 5 million because there's all, FedEx wants you to have a monthly thing.
Yep.
All these different like regional companies, usually corporate companies, need you to build pallets for them. Well, 5 million is like, this is great. They're making, and to your point, I don't know if we were recording yet, but when somebody was basically taking the money out of the business and living a lifestyle they shouldn't, over $1 million of the 5 million was personal. Ooh. And it, there's all kinds. I won't even get into that. Short story, it's going out of business now. But my friend grew it, and his brother thinks that it's worth $2.5 million. And the reason I say this story, the reason I explain it is because a lot of roofing contractors say, I'm doing this many millions of dollars, 7, 8, $10 million, whatever it is. And they think that their business is worth X amount of dollars because something they saw on the internet. And it's very important that you meet with somebody like William because of that. Because it is that pallet business is, I know it's a different business, but it's nowhere near where it's worth about $250,000. That's it. And that's to sell equipment.
Yeah.
And you have to have good books. You have to understand what good cash flow actually is and what your valuation could be. Like you can't, and it's not something you can just figure out in a month. You have to meet, have a plan, execute the plan. What I've seen is, correct me if I'm wrong, but what I've seen is 12, 18 or 24 months is generally how long it takes for somebody to close on a business for a big deal. I've seen shorter. Obviously, mine was way shorter. But what I see is a year to 2 years is what people have told me many times.
I'd say it's less than that. But I guess let me start with, it depends how much work you got to do in advance to be ready for sale. If you've got, if your numbers are in order, you're of size, you understand what the offers are going to look like, you understand what the commitment from you is going to be after the deal. If you understand all those things and you're comfortable with that, then literally start to finish could be, I don't know, fast, 6 months.
Yep.
But so that's to get a deal closed. In most situations, owners are rolling equity and staying involved, the kind of partner, and that is post-deal, but you're still involved day to day, could be another couple of years.
Yeah.
So, but I think of that as beyond the normal deal close. But I mean, short be around 6 months. A year, I mean, if you go beyond a year, you should probably pull the thing, focus on your business, and then come back. Because there are reasons it hasn't sold. If you've been out there for a year trying to sell your business,
I love what you're saying. I love it because you're not thinking like a roofing business owner that wants to get out of their business. The people that are watching and listening, they want to be gone. And the people that I know that have sold, that have closed, it has been that 6 month window or less.
Yeah.
Because they have great businesses. These are two people that I know really well. They have closed, but there is a period of time where you still have that. Your business is running great, but you still have that burden on you, and it's going to be long. It's not, just don't think you're just going to go away in 6 months. Usually you're not, or you're going to take way less money.
Correct.
So I just want to make that really clear because I think it's the burden was lifted when I sold my business. I had never felt that way in a decade. So I understand, like, just know it's not like done and I'm gone. I'm never going to talk about roofing again. That's generally what I see. Most
are doing some sort of partnership that you're staying involved for a period of time. Most are doing that. And also going back to your, like, they only gone immediately, know that these things, even, I'm saying 6 months is short. If it's taking more than a year, you're getting clear feedback of why your business is not sellable right now. And you should focus on fixing those issues before, because it's just a waste of time to keep doing that over and over again. Like, you've gotten clear feedback. Take that for what it's worth, go fix those things, and then come back and let's try it again. But again, in those 6 months, like, if you're thinking it looks perfect right now, get out, it's going to take a number of months. And that's where diligence, evaluation, like continual performance matters, because it can't be like, I had a good month, good week. let's go, because they're going to look at a longer history than that. And you got me thinking, I've never mentioned this one, pallet companies. I'm pretty sure there's a PE firm in Boston rolling those up. It's called like 48 48.
Yeah.
And they're rolling up pallet companies.
That's what I was trying to get my friend to do, to like buy out his brother so that deal, because my friend's really smart at operations.
Yeah.
And obviously sales too. And he has he's just really good at jumping into that business for only a couple of years. And I kind of knew that PE firm was doing that because I had researched it just a little bit, and I was like, I wish I had that scenario. It's very intriguing because there's way less stress for just being in the warehouse. I'm like, this is great. Just a bunch of wood and dudes using nail guns, and it sounded like roofing. I was like, this feels like roofing, but it's not roofing. We're not at somebody's house and they're yelling at us and keeping their roses protected and all that, breaking their driveway.
Yeah.
I love it. Pallets.
You've ingenious. So in pallets, I heard someone. So pallets are heavy. They're expensive to ship. They break a lot. I know someone that went years ago. They went for a plastic. They tried to invent a plastic pallet because it's lighter. It's cheaper to ship. It doesn't break as often, so you don't have to do as much repair work. And they were tracking them, and it was like kind of like a more closed loop system. And I think everything made sense, except they began like basically getting stolen. And I was like, well, because it's a more upfront investment that you get pay off over time. Like, it was genius long term, but that upfront investment is real. And they began losing them or getting stolen, and the whole thing got turned upside down.
Yeah. There's something called a pitch pallet. Are you aware of this in the roofing space?
Mm-mm.
So it has, I think there's only 3 sizes, and it's basically a really shallow roof, a medium roof, and a steep roof. I could be wrong, but there's a few different models, and you can only put, I think, 7 squares, so 21 bundles of most shingles on the pallet. So you have to get the manufacturer. It's a whole big deal. It's a big logistics nightmare, but it's an amazing safety thing because if you have a roof load supplier, they can roof load all the shingles safely on the ridge of the roof.
Huh.
Another pallet idea that didn't really take off that well because people would steal them. They would not use them. They would be like, what do I do with all these pallets in my yard? I can't give them back. Like, it was crazy.
You don't see many unique pallets very often. That would be a unique pallet.
Yeah, it was very cool. I really wanted to use them, but the logistics was crazy on it. Well, William, we've solved all the world's problems. I enjoyed talking to you today. I hope people got some value out of this. How do people get a hold of you?
Thank you, John. I appreciate this as well. Probably the best, on my website, marketadvisors.com, or I'm fairly active on Facebook, sharing information, content at William Pauly. Or give me a call, 904-716-9429 and 904-716-9429. I think email address is on the website or something. Or I got wpauly at marketadvisors.com. I'll put them all out there. So.
Nice. We'll have it in the show notes. If you're watching, you'll be able to see his face and find him on Facebook. Again, thanks for coming today. And thanks everybody for watching or listening to the Big Roofs Podcast.
Awesome. Thanks, John. Appreciate it, guys.